I was the best man at his wedding, but she once was my girlfriend. I never imagined that standing as the best man at my best friend's wedding would feel like this. From the outside, it looked like a dream, the flowers perfectly arranged, the music soft and romantic, and everyone dressed in their best clothes. People smiled, laughed, and celebrated love. But inside me, it felt like I was drowning, because the bride walking down the aisle wasn't just his fiancée. She used to be mine. Her name was Emily, and she was the first woman I ever truly loved. We met in college, back when life was messy but simple, and the idea of forever seemed like something we could actually hold in our hands. She had this way of lighting up a room without even trying. I fell fast, hard, and deeper than I probably should have. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real. We spent long nights studying together, going on spontaneous road trips, even talking about what our life might look like years down the road. At one point, I honestly believed she was the one. But then, life got complicated. I was offered a job out of state, and we had to make the impossible choice: try long distance or let go. Emily said she couldn't handle the distance. She said she needed stability, something that didn't leave her waiting by the phone, missing someone who wasn't there. I understood. At least I told myself I did. But it crushed me. Losing her was like losing a piece of myself. I threw myself into work, into building my career, into anything that could keep me from thinking about her. Meanwhile, my best friend Michael was there for me through it all. He listened when I couldn't sleep, when I wanted to call her, when I thought I'd never move on. He was my brother in every sense of the word, except blood. So when he told me a year later that he had met someone, I didn't think much of it. He sounded excited, more alive than I'd heard him in a long time. I congratulated him, supported him, encouraged him, but he kept her name a secret at first, saying he wanted to make sure it was serious before introducing us. And when I finally met her, I swear the world stopped. Michael walked into the restaurant, smiling like the happiest man alive, and beside him was Emily, my Emily. Or at least, she used to be. The moment our eyes met, it was like every memory we ever shared came rushing back all at once. Late-night drives, whispered promises, the way she used to look at me when she thought I wasn't paying attention. I froze, my chest tightening, my mind screaming while my mouth went silent. Michael introduced her casually, like it was nothing, like he wasn't dropping a bomb on my entire world. "Jake," he said, "this is Emily, the woman I've been telling you about." And Emily, she just smiled politely, like we were strangers. That dinner was one of the hardest nights of my life. I sat across the table from Michael and Emily, forcing myself to smile, to laugh at the right moments, to play the role of supportive best friend. Inside, though, I was crumbling. Every time Michael reached for her hand, a sharp pang hit my chest. Every time Emily laughed at one of his jokes, the same way she used to laugh at mine, it felt like a ghost was haunting me. And when she leaned into him, resting her head on his shoulder, I had to bite down hard just to keep from showing the storm brewing inside me. Michael was glowing. He was happier than I had ever seen him, and part of me hated myself for resenting that. He deserved happiness. He deserved love. But why did it have to be with her? Why Emily, of all people? Later that night after dinner, Michael pulled me aside. "Jake, what do you think? She's amazing, right?" he said, his eyes shining like a kid showing off his favorite toy. I forced a grin. "Yeah, man, she's great." What else could I say? That she was the woman I once thought I'd marry? That she broke my heart into pieces I was still trying to gather? That I couldn't look at her without feeling like I was suffocating? No. I swallowed it all because Michael was my best friend, and betraying him wasn't an option. Weeks turned into months, and I watched their relationship grow stronger. I became the silent observer, the unwilling witness. Emily and I rarely spoke directly to each other. When we did, it was surface level, polite, careful, like walking on glass. But there were moments, fleeting and dangerous, when our eyes would meet. In those stolen seconds, it felt like she wanted to say something, like words were trapped in her throat. But she never did. Neither of us dared. When Michael proposed, he called me first. I still remember the excitement in his voice, how he said, "Jake, I've never been more sure about anything in my life. She's the one." I congratulated him. I even offered to help plan. On the phone, I sounded thrilled. But when I hung up, I sat in the dark for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell I ended up in this position. And then came the ultimate blow. Michael asked me to be his best man. I should have said no. I should have told him the truth right then and there. But the words got stuck in my throat. He looked at me with so much trust, so much love, and I just couldn't. I nodded, smiled, and said, "Of course, man. I'd be honored." From that moment on, every step toward the wedding felt like walking closer to a cliff. The bachelor party, the rehearsal dinner, the constant planning, it was torture disguised as celebration. I was dying inside, but no one knew. Not even Emily. At least, that's what I thought. Because a week before the wedding, Emily pulled me aside when Michael wasn't around. Her voice was quiet, almost trembling. "Jake, we need to talk." When Emily pulled me aside, my heart stopped. We stood outside the rehearsal venue, away from everyone else. The muffled sound of laughter and music floated from inside, but out here, it was just the two of us, a silence heavy with years of unspoken history. She looked nervous, wringing her hands. "Jake," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "I know this is complicated, but I can't stand pretending anymore." I swallowed hard. Pretending about what? Her eyes met mine, and for the first time in years, I saw the same girl I once loved, vulnerable, honest, afraid. "That there isn't something left between us," she said. The words hit me like a punch. I wanted to deny it, to push her away, to protect Michael, to protect myself. But deep down, I knew she was right. Every glance, every moment of silence between us, every ghost of a smile had been saying what neither of us dared to admit. "Emily," I whispered, shaking my head, "you can't say that. Not now, not when you're about to marry him." Tears filled her eyes. "Do you think I don't know that? Do you think this hasn't been eating me alive?" I tried, Jake. I tried to move on. But every time I look at you, it's like the past comes rushing back. I can't ignore it anymore. My chest tightened. I wanted to grab her hand, to tell her I felt the same. But I also saw Michael's face in my mind, the friend who trusted me with his secrets, who made me his best man, who looked at me like a brother. "We can't do this," I said firmly, even though it shattered me. "Michael loves you, and if you really love him, you'll go through with this. Whatever we had, it's over. It has to be." Her lips trembled, as if she wanted to argue, but then she nodded, wiping her tears quickly. She turned away before I could say another word. The next day, the wedding arrived. I stood beside Michael at the altar, my best man's speech folded neatly in my pocket. My heart pounded as the music started, and Emily walked down the aisle in her white dress. She was breathtaking, and yet all I could feel was pain. As she reached the altar, her eyes flicked toward me for the briefest second. No one else noticed, but I did. That one glance held everything, our past, our regret, and the impossible weight of what could have been. The ceremony went on. I smiled, clapped, played my part, but inside I was screaming. When Michael kissed his bride, the room erupted in cheers, but I felt like I had lost something I could never get back. At the reception, I gave my best man speech. My voice was steady, my jokes landed, people laughed. But when I raised my glass and said, "To Michael and Emily, may your love last forever," I felt the words burn in my throat, because deep down, I knew that while their love was beginning, mine had just been buried for good.
If this story kept you hooked until the very end, don't forget to subscribe to Storybar, give this video a like, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us bring you even more stories full of drama, betrayal, love, and life-changing decisions. Don't miss the next one.